Hello and welcome to Jazz Tonight. I'm Michael Jacobi, executive producer of Jazz on the Plaz and host of Raising the Standards on KSCO Radio in Santa Cruz. As we continue our summer homage to the great Ella Fitzgerald, and I'm so excited this week because I have some friends from New York and LA who are joining us. Amy Cervini, hi pal.
Hi, how are you doing?
Sarah Gazarki.
Gazarek. So close, Michael.
I got so close.
So close.
That's why we had rehearsal. Peter Eldridge, how are you, Peter? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
All right, a little background. Bar 55, correct?
Yes.
A couple years ago, my wife and I, first of all, Amy's been here, and you might remember her as part of Duchess.
Yes.
You don't remember her on the television show on Jazz Tonight because that day you lost your voice.
I did.
Yeah.
I misplaced my voice.
Yeah, and all the lime and salt didn't help. But somehow you got it back for the concert. You were marvelous, and we're delighted to have you back. So, long story and rambling story short. So my wife and I are at Bar 55 in the Village a couple of years ago, and you're with Sarah. Sarah was there that night.
That's right.
And you were doing little duet vignettes. And who was the guitar player?
Chris Bergson, we had playing guitar.
And Peter wasn't there that night, but it was
Not that
Kat
one.
Edmondson was there.
Kat. Yes.
Kat was there.
And it was just this wonderful show. And here I am taking credit for the whole thing. But I said you need to take this on tour,
You did.
and you did, and you're here.
And here we are.
So I'm delighted to hear it. Let's kind of get to know each of you on an individual basis. Peter, you were one of the founders of New York Voices.
Yes. Yeah, we're in year 30.
I was going to say.
Wow.
Yeah, this is our 30th
Is that
anniversary. Yeah.
about the same time as the transfer, or they're a little older?
They're the next. Yeah, they're
might
the
be
next
40.
generation, or the one before.
You're the young
yeah,
guys.
yeah. We were the whippersnappers, but we are not anymore. Yeah, but yeah, I grew up loving them. You know, I remember being a 10-year-old kid singing into a comb, pretending I was in the Manhattan Transfer. So, you know, it made sense to maybe do it with New York Voices for a long time. It's amazing that it's been this long. We're all just kind of.
Are you considered vocalese? And if you are, define vocalese for me.
Well, vocalese is taking pre-existing instrumental solos and adding lyrics to them.
Okay.
And I think, you know, there are a few people that do it really well. John Hendricks and Mark Murphy and King Pleasure. And
Our friend Giacomo Gates, who is...
Oh, yeah, Giacomo, yeah, terrific. Friend. And so we do, that is part of what we've always done, but we kind of mix it up. We do a lot of different kinds of things.
So in terms of evolution, it was Singers Unlimited, Manhattan Transfer, then you folks.
Yeah, I like high-lows.
And then One Direction or something. Whoever came
Exactly.
after you.
Yes, we kind of led to One Direction, basically.
That's true.
You know, we take a lot of pride in that, yes.
Freakers.
Yeah.
Sarah, your background.
Well, I grew up in Seattle and kind of did the microphone singing along with New York Voices thing, and happened to attend a high school that had a phenomenal pre-collegiate jazz education program, like national level, participating in different festivals and competitions, and that was really how I caught the jazz bug. And wasn't singing, you know, Somewhere Over the Rainbow in cummerbund, like sequin gowns. It was like transcribing Miles Davis solos and writing lyrics to them. And
In high school?
In high school,
Were
yeah.
you doing musicals as well, or was this?
I did do musicals, but really at that time was when I realized, like, you know, the authenticity and really like improvisatory nature of jazz, and I fell in love with that pretty quickly. And then moved to LA and got a degree in jazz studies, as one can these days, and graduated from University of Southern California, and you know, before graduation had signed my first record contract and have kind of just been touring and making records since then.
Now,
that was 2 years ago.
Yes,
So.
who is,
Yes.
and our friend Tierney Sutton is.
Yeah.
Does she teach you?
She used to
USC or
teach there.
UCLA?
She used to teach at USC.
What was I was just lost track of it. But what is a young white girl in Seattle? Who's impressing her in terms of talent?
Oh, well, back then, I mean, I think speak of the devil, the first album that I really fell in love with that kind of like, do you remember that book, Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten? It was like everything I need to know I learned from Ella and Basie, that record, Sunny Side of the Street.
Yeah.
It was like all, you know, her phrasing, tone, inflections, style, their sense of swing, clearly the adoration for the music. It was like everything.
Did you ever see her?
No.
No. Peter?
I rode in an elevator with her once.
Really?
Yeah. Kim Nazarian from New York Voices. We were in an elevator at the hotel, and the doors opened up, and huge winter coat walked in, and we were, neither of us took a breath for 32 floors.
I saw her a couple times. She was remarkable. I have a great story. When I was doing KRML in Carmel, the guy that owned the station, I had done an interview. He was a young radio guy, and he got to interview Ella, and he says, I was just frightened to death. And he says the interview was not going well. Everything was yes, no, yes. And it was a bit of tough sledding. And finally she was wearing this great watch. And he says, as I flopped sweating, I looked at her and I said, it's quite a watch, Ella. There must be a great story behind that. And she goes, no.
Oh.
Well, other than that, how's it going?
Oh, dear.
And Miss Cervini,
Yeah.
where you're a New York girl, aren't you?
Well, I am currently based in New York.
You're not from Alaska, are you? Did we
No, that's
Almost.
Hillary.
That's Hillary.
Basically.
But I'm
Basically
I am
Alaska.
from Canada.
Well, that's like Alaska.
It's kind of like
but
Alaska.
you can't vote.
No,
Actually, no, we're not going there.
no. Let's.
Um,
I grew up in Toronto.
Now, which is a great jazz city.
It
Like I have
is.
to tell you.
It is a great jazz city. I left when I was 18 though, and I went to school in Boston. So I haven't, and then I moved to New York. So I haven't been there.
So how did this all happen? Was it an epiphany? You were somebody should invent, by the way, a hairbrush with a microphone
Right.
built into it, so kids could
You
learn
heard it here
stuff.
first.
Yeah, that's right.
Patton, grab the
Mike.
patent on
Duets,
that.
I'm taking credit for both of those. Were there a lot of music around the house when you were a kid?
Yes. We all played classical piano, my brother, sister, and I, and my
Forced
mom,
to?
Forced, very much, very forced to. I spent a lot of time at the piano.
It's just hard to believe a lot of young people go, let's play the classical piano.
Yeah,
I think
no.
that would please Mom.
Yeah, no, we were. There was a lot of
That's right.
pressure.
Yeah.
I then started playing saxophone as my second instrument because we were allowed to choose a second instrument, and I actually went to college as a horn major. I was a saxophone major in college.
Jazz horn?
Yep. But I sang all the way through because I was a girl in the band, and that's what you do.
Did you do a high school rock and roll band?
I was in a cover band.
What was it called?
You know, it wasn't my band. It was through a music school, so I don't know that we had a name. But I did rap some Queen Latifah. Which,
Ooh,
Just saying.
can we do that tonight?
Sarah,
Totally
did
do
you
that tonight.
did you have a rock and roll band?
Come
on.
Listen, I'll say that there is an MP3 out there of me 8-tracking Boys to Men, like stacked harmonies, which is essentially like I just wanted to be a vocal jazz kid.
Yeah.
And then there's also a music video of me lip syncing to a Wilson Phillips song.
Oh,
Really?
They had their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, true.
Yeah.
If this YouTube's available, I think people would probably put us on pause and go ahead and Google that. Peter, did you have a high school group?
A couple of failed attempts, and I was a piano player first, and didn't start singing until college. It was too scary. I was just like singing, like a sound coming out of your mouth that is a sound that you create. I was just like, no way. So I played piano, and that was my salvation for the longest time, and still working out the fear of singing. So yes.
You two, the two of you probably more than Sarah, are known as part of groups. And you're more, I guess, more known as a soloist. My point is, how exciting and how much of a joy is it to get together and say, wow, we've got something going here. But also have that option, as you're not with Duchess all the time.
Right.
But you have the option. That must be fun. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for me, I enjoy the difference between those two things. I like being a cog in the wheel, doing my job and coming together to create something bigger and better. But I also like being the only one in charge. I mean, too much of either one, I think, doesn't work for me all the time. And in this particular situation, this is we're not trying to be a set group. We're just having fun and enjoying each other's musicality and company. So that's yet a different sort of joy. It's really
Sarah?
nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Amy put it really beautifully.
Have you done a lot of work with other people over the years?
In small capacities,
Okay.
not in like, I've definitely done the duet kind of like explore things. I've never been in a vocal group that is recorded and toured like these guys have. But I think what I was going to say is that Amy hit it on the head, that I think it's really important to have balance in your career. That like if I just did the solo thing, it would be really hard. But doing something like this, or even teaching at USC where I'm at now, or as a guest artist with other tours, which a number of us have done in different capacities, it just gives you perspective and appreciation for each kind of hat that you get to wear. But in this context, it really is like all of us just kind of like bowing to each other and saying like, let's just see what happens. There's not one band leader, there's not one person talking more than the other, there's not one person choosing repertoire more, you know, it's like we all just
Now, how
came
does
in.
that come together? Do you bring it to the table and say, you know what we ought to do? It would be good if we tried this?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of everything. I think we all kind of gravitated towards stuff that we thought, oh wow, for this particular collective of people, we were like, oh, this could be cool, you know. And then some things rose to the top, and some things were like, well, maybe next time, or you know, I think.
And you're a bit of the common denominator in terms of your company.
right,
Yeah.
right, which is fun. I love doing that. I really, really do. I feel
So
piano's my
if you're
sticky.
playing and then you start to sing, do you get daggers or anything? And you have to stop.
When I'm
Do
playing-
they glance at you and stop? What
These
do you
guys,
do? Yeah.
it gets
You
pretty,
are not singing right now, my friend.
right. It gets pretty ugly.
I get a little catty. Out.
Even we had our first concert last night, and whoo, boy, I felt
was
it.
like,
Yeah,
said,
it
who are
was,
you looking at? We're going to take a little. Let's take a quick break. Big thank you to the folks at the Pruneyard Cinemas, home of the Cedar Room, which is a world-class neighborhood bar. This is a great theater, folks. It's in the Pruneyard, and it's the only service at your seat food operation in the South Bay. Let's take a moment to check them out. We'll be right back with Jazz Tonight.
Hello, and welcome to Pruneyard Cinemas, Silicon Valley's most unique movie-going experience, and the South Bay's only service-to-your-seat luxury theater. Since this concept is probably new to many of you, let me take a moment to help you make the most of your visit. At the Pruneyard, the show starts long before the film begins. From our media wall in our lobby, keeping you up to date on happenings here at the theater, to our concessions area, which is, well, pretty special. Oh, you had dinner and cocktails in mind? Well, you came to the right place. Our chef-driven kitchen and Cedar Room offers seasonal bites which pair perfectly with our craft cocktails, draft beers, and local wines, and are all available at the bar and at your seat. It's really quite simple. If you'd like something from concession, something from the kitchen, or from the bar, just press the call button to your right, and one of our servers will be with you in no time. So that's it, just place your order. Thank you. They will be back with your check long before that critical scene in the movie. Our goal is to not disrupt you or your neighbor's experience. So just put up your feet and enjoy the show.
And welcome back to Jazz Tonight. Jacobi with you. Again, as our summer continues, next week, and I have to say this every week because by the time you folks at home see this, these folks should be back to their own worlds, back to LA and New York, and you're going to be saying, darn, I wish I'd seen that show. So for those of you that did, yes, it was wonderful, and I did look good. Anyway, Amy, Sarah, and Peter. You have a new CD out with a marvelous version of Spring is Here. Is
Oh, you know,
your
that's
new-
I
is that
do
old?
do Spring is Here. It's actually an older.
Is
It's
it?
an older one, but I do like that
It's
arrangement
a
of Spring.
lovely tune.
Isn't it a
lovely
great
tune.
song? Rogers and Hart are
Yeah.
they're it for me.
Yeah.
Of all the writing duos, I think they're kind of my
One of the great lyrics, Spring is Here, I hear.
Yeah,
Yeah, lovely.
It's just awesome.
Well, this is a tribute to your promotional people. I'm going to be quoting old CDs. Obviously, I'm not getting the new material. What have you got out? You got anything out recently?
A couple things.
Oh.
My last trio CD came out a couple years ago, and then recently released a duo CD with my longtime collaborator. But I'm heading into the studio in August
Okay.
to make a new record that I'm really excited about that features piano trio and 3 horns.
Oh,
It's my
cool.
first time recording with horns.
Cool.
Yeah.
The standards or some of your
Some
own
standards. There's a really cool arrangement of The Lonely Hours, which is an obscure tune that I discovered through Sarah Vaughan, doing a version of I'm a Fool to Want You, penned by a great singer-songwriter named Frank Sinatra.
stuff? He does take credit for it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, but then I also wrote, Larry Goldings and I wrote some songs together for that CD, and then there's a couple contemporary ones. There's a version of Jolene, the Dolly Parton tune that Jeff Keezer arranged, and I told him I wanted it to sound kind of have the fire that I thought that it should have, and he came back with what he penned as Trent Reznor meets Game of Thrones,
Ooh, well.
which is really what it is.
Meets Dolly
I-
Parton.
Yeah, meets Dolly Parton.
I am such a great believer in not only the Great American Songbook, but the fact that the book never stopped being written.
Yeah.
And our friend Paula West has done some Dylan as of late. And I mean, what a joy.
Yeah.
And there's so many things and some Johnny Cash stuff, which is really lovely. And I'm going to quote an old CD of yours, which
Yes.
I love, is your jazz or your country CD.
Yes.
Which has, you do a thing with Nellie McKay on there.
I do, yeah, we do a
Who's
duet.
been here, yeah.
Has she?
Yeah.
She's the greatest. We do a duet.
Of an old Patsy Cline tune.
No,
No?
it is a Frischberg tune.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But what's the Patsy Cline, Sunflowers?
The Wallflower Lonely is
Wall-
Frischberg tune.
Oh, that's a Frischberg tune.
Yeah.
I thought Klein had done it. Maybe not. What a great tune. You can do
It's
that
a great tune. We are doing it tonight, yeah.
Which
You
means
missed it. It was
You
great.
didn't see the show.
It's fantastic.
Life changing.
But tonight it's going to feature a really great local artist. It's
Yes.
a
Right.
duet on your record with Nellie. But tonight it's a great woman who's actually opening for us.
Yes,
Ren-
we
Ren
had, we
Giesek.
never have done this, and we're looking forward to that. Excuse me. Also tonight, your new CD, I believe, or at least the one they sent me.
That is the newest.
A friend of mine, Carol Coates, wrote one of the tunes.
He did. He did.
No one ever tells you which. Carol maintains that Sinatra added the last line.
That's what he told me.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
he told me. It's a great tune, and I heard it first. Kendra Schenk
Yeah.
sang it, and I had never heard it before, even from Frank, and I was so excited about it, and I asked her if I could have the music and possibly start singing it. She said yes, so. And it's the title track of my new record, yeah. It just came out, actually. Like, it feels like a million years ago, but
To rave reviews.
To rave
so
reviews.
far,
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I feel so sorry for the people that aren't going to be here tonight, which is when you see this a couple of weeks ago. So, how would you sound? Melissa, how's this working? Is this going to work good? How would you sound together if you were to maybe sing a little something?
Well, fantastic.
Amazing.
It would
It's
sound
really
I don't even think we need
Oh,
to sing
great.
anything.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
know that
Trust
it'll
us.
be really.
Really, that was pretty much didn't work like I hoped.
We can make it work.
Great.
We can make it work.
Great.
What's your?
Is that too low? You good?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. The more I'm with you, pretty baby, the more I feel my love increase. I'm building all my dreams around you. Our happiness will never cease. 'Cause nothing's any good without you. 'Cause baby, you're my center piece.
Very nice. Is that Miles too?
I think Harry Sweets Edison
Is that Harry Sweet?
Yep.
Was it?
with John Hendricks lyrics.
Yeah.
Lambert Henderson rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marvelous, marvelous. Let's talk. Are we doing okay time-wise? Yeah. Talk a little bit about. Let's take a bucket list item for all you guys. Nothing like Hollywood Bowl. It'll give me an idea of what you. For instance, a tune you've never been ready to do, and now you're old enough, or something, or something like your chance of working with three horns. I've never said that phrase. I have a ranch. I've never even said that to a cow. But okay, give me a bucket list idea.
I would like to record with big band,
Okay.
either by myself or with Duchess. I'll take either one. I'm not picky, but that would be a real achievement.
Have you? Do you have big band charts?
Sure, yeah. It's just too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible, and so maybe someday. I'm thinking of bringing back like patronage. I think that should come back.
Well, what is
You mean
that?
like a Kickstarter?
That's
no,
like-
I mean like just one human that will be my patron, so that it's
Sugar
not.
Daddy, I believe.
Sugar person.
That's
Sugar person.
another.
Sugar
That's
person.
another angle.
Sugar person.
Yeah.
Well, indulgences like the Catholic Church had for years, where you could just give money to get into heaven. I believe
right.
that's still true.
Right. I'm pretty sure
This
that's
would
the
be like
unknown.
you getting into musical heaven.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you can still give money. It's true. You can't get it in heaven. That's not much. How about you, sir?
I would say my bucket list, like if this could happen before I were to go, would be to record with symphony.
A symphony.
Like sort of like the old, like, Lena Horne or like old Frank Sinatra, where you've got the
Well, you're
giant
talking about with the
orchestra.
strings, the whole
Yeah,
deal. Yeah.
yeah, like big to do lush orchestrations. I think people don't do it often for the same reason, because it's just really expensive, and the old studios used to have just people on staff all day, every day, recording and arranging, and it just doesn't happen very often, but that would be the one.
You live in LA. Have you taken the Capitol tour?
I've recorded 2 of my CDs at KCAT.
Okay, because Spencer Day was saying that they brought Frank's microphone out for him.
I also sang on Frank's microphone.
I have a feeling they do that when you record them.
Yeah, or maybe they just tell you that's what's happening.
Oh, hang on a second. Get Frank's mic.
Yeah,
Great studio.
the best.
The best.
Yeah.
And did you record the old-fashioned way? Were you all together in the room?
No.
No.
Nope.
It's still done. Yeah.
No, and that doesn't
Is
happen
that
very
ever
often.
done?
It is. So Bob Dylan's last record was recorded by the great Al Schmidt, who's done every record, and Al produced my last duo album, and like 80% of the studio time is just Al telling these great stories. And so he was talking about the Dylan record that they recorded, and that it really was just like he pushed play and they jammed out and picked the best
so
songs,
cool.
and they just were in a circle in Studio B the whole time.
We were.
You want to be taller, is on your
I
bucket.
do want to be. I always. But I think I'm in a shorter chair. You're taller
You're
than
tall.
me. Because this is weird. I'm looking up to you even more than I normally do.
Peter, let's talk.
All these lenses are funhouse mirrors.
Okay.
It's to get me to look really
Something
svelte.
was going on
That's
right
why I shoot this way.
Among other things, I want to be in Union Station with Alison Krauss. I want to be another member of. Isn't that weird? I just want to play piano in that band and sing in that band. I don't know. So that's a total left turn. But I did get a bucket list thing checked off. I've been working with the jazz pianist Kenny Werner.
Oh, sure.
And we are mixing, almost finished with an album of string and piano trio.
Yeah.
So
How cool.
I played a little bit for Amy in the car on the way up, and so it is exactly the lushy, 60s Frank kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We got a couple of minutes left. Give me a quick plug on how people can reach you, find out more, and can they buy CDs on your website?
My phone number is
Now, when you make the left turn, you're going to want to park.
it's very dark on my street, but you'll see me. What is fax machine? Yes, I'm best reached by fax.
Beeper.
Yes. No, just website petereldridge.com.
Can they buy CDs on the website?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Remember CDs?
Yeah, I
CDs?
remember.
They still
Yeah.
make those?
They
Well, they make
we're-
those
we're-
because you
we're trying.
you can't sell downloads at a concert. That's
Yeah.
why. Although I'm sure they'll figure out a way.
But yeah. And the Instagrams.
Right, the Facebooks.
And I'm not sure if I told these guys I took a break from Facebook, and I'm kind of really enjoying taking a break from Facebook. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to wander back or not. It's been kind of great.
Well, I think for Facebook for me, because I used to do stand up, and I still write a lot. So it's a great outlet for me testing comedy. What's really good about it is I don't know if people are laughing, I don't know if they're reading it. How do people reach you?
Same thing. Website. My last name is just the complicated part. It's Sara, no H. Last name is Gazarek.
And how would you pronounce that?
Gazarek.
Gazarek. That's exactly right. Amy?
Exactly the same. AmyServini.com, and that's CerVini.
The show's Duets tonight, and I couldn't be more delighted because I get royalties for having invented this whole thing. Three marvelous people, very, very talented, and we're delighted to have you in Los Gatos. And I'm sure if Ella were alive, and Sarah for that matter, they'd both be big fans of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks so
for that.
much.
That's Jazz Tonight. Big thank you to the folks at the Pruneyard Cinemas. And next week, we will be chatting with Tony Lindsay of Tony Lindsay and the Soul Soldiers. Until then, that's Jazz Tonight. I'm Jacobi. I'll see you soon.